Welcome to Town Arlington Redevelopment Board meeting. Mike, are you ready? On March 30th, 2026, I'd like to call this meeting to order. My name is Ken Lau. I'm the chair of the ARB. Can the other members of the board please introduce themselves, starting with Steve?
Steve Rebelak.
Hello, Vince Baudouin.
Shayna Corman Houston.
Rachel Zemberry.
We also joined by Claire Richter and Sarah Suarez. Is that correct?
That's pretty good as far as.
Suarez, okay. First on the agenda tonight is do the board members have any changes to the minutes on March 16th?
No changes, Mr. Chair.
Vince?
Nothing from me.
Kenna?
Nothing.
Rachel?
I just have one. It's on page 2, the paragraph from the top. It's the 5th paragraph that starts Ms. Zemberry. And in the last sentence, where it says Ms. Zemberry said that she would like to get Mr. Champa's feedback, I asked for the proponents to get Mr. Champa's feedback. Thank you.
Thank you. I have none. Can I get a motion to accept the minutes as amended?
So I will move approval of the meeting minutes for March 16th, 2026 as amended.
Second.
Thank you. Steve?
Yes.
Vince?
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
I'm a yes too. Okay. Second on the agenda tonight is the DPCD to confirm a new member of the Vision Arlington Standing Committee to fill the seat for DPCD appointee. Claire, can you tell us who's been nominated?
Sure. Is Amara Remen here? All right. I'd like to nominate Amara Remen to the committee seat for a 2-year term, and I'm seeking the board's vote to confirm Ms. Remen to the standing committee. She did initially indicate that she would be here this evening, but it seems maybe she had a conflict. I will certainly reach out to her. But I have been in communication with Ms. Remen, and she is enthusiastic about getting the seat on the Envision Committee. Should the board vote to confirm her, I believe that we'll have a full standing committee, Envision Standing Committee for the first time in, possibly several years, certainly several months.
Are there any discussions on the board for this nomination? Rachel?
I don't really know anything about either this candidate or the other candidate that's put forward. Was there an application that they needed to fill out or a resume that they submitted? That would be helpful, I think, before we vote.
They both indicated with a letter of interest, which was an email indicating their interest, and then submitted resumes for review, for my review, and for at least in the Arlington Heights Neighborhood Action Plan Implementation Committee for Katie's review. I rather than post resumes online as part of minutes, they certainly are available as a public record, and should the board wish to review, I'm happy to send those around if you don't, if you're feeling uncomfortable confirming this evening.
I would just like to know a little bit more about their stated interest in the committee and their what they have identified as based on their professional experience or personal experience in the community, what they are bringing to the seat. So I'm happy if that's something that you would be able to summarize. But if that's something that, again, I don't need to see the exact resume, but I think to me as a board member being asked to confirm somebody, I would like to know a little bit about the individual we're being asked to confirm.
Sure, I am happy to do that if we would like to push these votes to confirm to potentially the next meeting.
That's all the feedback I have.
Let's with the rest of the committee. Shannon?
So I'm fine waiting to the next meeting to see the resumes if that would be helpful to my colleagues.
Vince?
Thanks. Yeah, I only know as much about these two candidates as a quick Google search would tell me, and so I do agree with Rachel. It'd be helpful to, maybe read their letter of interest and just know a brief summary. It could even be a verbal summary of their experience. Thank you.
Okay. Steve?
I concur with my previous colleagues.
All right. I will then, let's table this Division Arlington Standing Committee to the following week. The Arlington Heights Neighborhood Action Committee. Claire, do you want to speak about that?
Sure. So this was interest indicated by Steve McKenna, who is a longtime Arlington resident and a real estate professional in the community who's indicated interest in joining the Arlington Heights Neighborhood Action Plan Implementation Committee, mostly to offer or to participate in the Arlington Heights Business District subcommittee of that group. Again, if the board is interested in learning more about Mr. McKenna or seeing his email indicating his interest in the group, I'm happy to circulate that as well, and we can table this to your April 6th meeting.
I'm actually able to speak with to Steve. I've known Steve for probably 25 years. He's probably been 40 year resident of Arlington. He works here. The board has met him several times when he's represented other projects for his clients here. So I do speak highly of him. He attended one of the meetings. He spoke quite elegantly. And I think he has some good insight for a different business-oriented and retail-oriented aspects to that committee. I think he would be a strong candidate for that. So I would vouch for him that way there. That's my opinion. Rachel?
I've met Steve through work on the Arlington Heights Neighborhood Action Plan Implementation Committee, so I think my question to the other board members is, would they want to see a summary to be consistent with all of the committee members that we are looking to approve?
Okay. Hannah?
I don't really know Steve. I think for consistency, it would probably be helpful to see Steve's background.
Okay. Vincent?
Yeah, I agree. I think waiting till next week would make sense, as long as that doesn't make them miss a meeting. It looks like both committees have their next meetings on April 14th and 15th, so it would still be okay to have them nominated in time.
I think so. I think they can still also show as to the meeting because it's a public meeting, even though they're not nominated.
Approved, yeah.
Steve?
Yeah, for the sake of even treatment among appointees, it would be nice to see the letters of intent from both.
Sure. Resumes or letters of intent?
I'd be happy with the letters of intent if staff feel there's something in the resume. I would personally like to see both, but at the very least, letters of intent.
Does the board concur?
Yes.
I would even be happy with a summary of their experience. And, again, I would agree. I think the understanding their intent, whether that's publishing the letter of intent or what they're looking to accomplish, and a short summary of their background based on their resume would be fine.
Okay.
If there's a concern from the DPCD about publishing the resume.
I'd like to know what makes a candidate tick.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are you okay with that, Claire?
Yeah, we can.
All right.
We can work something up.
Okay, so we're on to our next agenda. We're going to review materials for 190 Mass Ave. They have submitted some materials here. It's not quite as clear as I think. I would like to, if the board's okay, to ask them to come in and present the actual materials with a better correlation based off of their materials and what's on their approved sheets. Rachel?
That makes sense to me. I think based on the material, perhaps before they come in, I can offer some feedback just based on what we've seen today, unless you would just like to wait until they come in.
We can do that. I just don't want to mislead them in a way where,
That's fine. If we'd like to have a full discussion, I'm happy to wait until they appear in front of us.
I just don't want to seem like we're changing directions on them.
Yep.
And, this is a fully approved project already. This is a check on the materials submitted. Shanna?
I agree it would be useful to have them here and talking us through where the materials fit on the board. When they are here, I'd also like them to confirm that any changes to the building they're contemplating are not material to the permit that was approved by this board.
Sure. Vince?
Yeah, no objection to pushing it off. Is it appropriate, Mr. Chair, that I vote on this, given that I didn't review the project initially?
I'm not sure about that. I think it may be the three of us, me, Rachel, and Steve, can vote on it if nothing's changed and it's not if there's no changes and we don't reopen the approval process. But we can confirm that with town council?
Yes, we can.
Okay,
Certainly.
so we'll have an answer for that for you by the next meeting, okay?
Thanks.
Steve?
I think it would be lovely to see the applicants back here.
Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda is public hearing, including deliberation votes for Article 38 to extend the charge of the Affordable Housing Overlay Committee. Claire, you want to introduce this article?
Sure. This is a non-zoning warrant article that was recently presented to me to put in front of the ARB by town council. I believe there was some conversation about which board was best to hear this article, and ultimately the decision was made that it should be the ARB. So this was added. This warrant article was added to the list of articles for the board to consider, but because this is a non-zoning warrant article, we were only required to provide 48 hours advance notice that this article would be heard. This is an article to see, like as Ken said, to see if the town will vote to extend the charge of the Affordable Housing Overlay District Committee to 2027 annual town meeting to continue to study and prepare prospective amendments to the zoning bylaw and zoning map in order to create an affordable housing overlay district. On May 14th, 2025 annual town meeting approved a motion to commit, which was submitted under Article 41, to create a town committee to study and prepare the draft zoning bylaw and map amendment to establish the affordable housing overlay district for consideration at 2026 annual town meeting. This warrant article extends their charge through to 2027.
So are we going to slide this in with all the other articles we're reviewing today, or?
No, Mr. Chair, this article will stand on its own, and following discussion and public input on this article, the board, should or could vote on recommending favorable action to advance this article to town meeting.
Okay. I'm going to open this up to debate in the board. Are there any questions or anything, issues you want to bring up, starting with Steve?
Sure. I do agree with, I think the committee has, it takes time to seat a group like this, and, they were seated, I think, towards the end of the summer or early in the fall. And they've done a commendable amount of work in a short period of time. The folks seem committed to pursuing the overlay district or something along those lines, and I would like to see them continue. This is sort of a technical question, but in order to vote on something, I believe we need a main motion. And while the warrant language is useful and the background is, there's actually, I don't see a main motion in the memo, but perhaps that is something that could be, that could be handled next week.
I think that's too late, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know that we're going to be able to do that. right? Because we have our report due to be voted on next week.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work. Can we make up a main motion here now?
We're not the ones who inserted it.
I don't want this to
You
go.
have, I'd hate to this. You don't know how to do that.
It seems to me like the warrant article language minus or take any action related thereto. If you take out that last 6 words, you essentially have a motion to, let's see, to see if the town will vote. You just say, the main motion would be that the town votes to extend the charge of the Affordable Housing Overlay District Committee, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then you take out the last phrase, which says, or take any action related thereto.
I'm sure that was the intent of what was submitted, so, yeah. And Sarah also is on the committee. And you that's fine.
And if you want to go to the articles first, then I'll just confirm the language. Yeah, I think that sounds fine.
Let's do that, okay? Let's return back to this at the end of the one article numbers that we go, or here, articles we're going over tonight. And we'll come back to it and we can bring it back up.
That
Does
sounds
fair?
Sounds like a good idea to me, Mr.
Okay.
Chair.
All right. So, the next item on our agenda is the continuation of public hearing for zoning articles for 2026 town meeting, continued from March 23rd. Over the last 4 meetings, we held meetings for over 20 zoning articles. Tonight, the board will deliberate and vote on each of them. There will be no public comments today on any of the zoning articles that's here, okay? So, let's start with, do you have a little chart I asked for? No.
Article 39,
I know, but, you know,
we didn't produce the chart for you,
Okay.
Ken, I'm
that's
sorry.
all right, that's all right. Okay. Let's start with Article 39. The warrant article is administrative clarification to accessory dwelling units. Do we have any discussions from the board with this? Starting with Rachel.
For this, I'll just say a couple things, and again, these are all for the sake of the memo, which the redevelopment board report rather to town meeting, which I know we need to ensure that there is enough specificity so that the town meeting members understand what it is and why we voted the way we did. So I would just like to state that it proposes a simplification of the language for clarity, but no substantive change. This is purely administrative in nature. So I'm in favor.
Thank you. Shanna?
Because as Rachel observes, this is purely administrative in nature. I have no comments or objections. I'm fine moving forward with this.
Vincent?
No comments. I'm a yes on this.
Steve?
I have comments. So last year, the Attorney General's Municipal Law Unit informed Arlington that ADUs must be allowed by right, and there cannot be any circumstances where a special permit is required. So as written, Arlington's ADU bylaw currently requires a special permit when the ADU is within yard setbacks. This provision was put in place to allow non-conforming garages to be converted into ADUs. The municipal law unit said that we can't do that, but they recommended changing the special permit condition to a finding, which is what this article proposes to do, and I fully support it.
So is this article written clear enough where the town will understand what we're voting on here?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have a motion for favorable action?
So I move favorable action on Article 39.
I'll second.
Steve?
Yes.
Vince?
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
I'm a yes too. So we'll move Article 39 to town meeting.
Would the board recommend that this article be recommended for the consent agenda?
Yes.
Yes.
Great.
I should ask that for only the ones that are here? Yep, okay, I see. Fine.
There's only a few of them.
Yep. Okay, Article 40, zoning map change requirements. Warrant Article 40, zoning map change requirements. You want to introduce that, Claire?
Sure. Article 40. This is a warrant article and main motion language that would change the mailing requirement for a zoning map amendment from registered or certified mail to first-class mail. Making that change could make map changes more accessible to those seeking and be less cost prohibitive.
Rachel?
Yes, I think this is a small but important change, lowering the cost burden for residents, but not the duty to notify. And I think, given the nature of the change, it could also be considered for the consent agenda.
Thank you. Shana?
Yes, I think this is sensible and appropriate, and I support it, and the consent agenda makes sense.
Vincent?
I agree with my colleagues. Nothing else to add.
Steve?
So yeah, when this provision was added to our bylaw many, many years ago, it contained no requirement to notify property owners, only abutters. And we discovered this when, someone proposed a map change. And, it seems like the original intent was to require a property owner who wanted to rezone their own property to notify the people around them. I don't think it ever directly contemplated a non-owner requesting a map change. But we have seen citizen petitioners that are interested in proposing map changes, and, at $10 a letter, certified mail is an expensive proposition for anything but the smallest amendments. So what we've seen as a result is, perhaps requests to change entire districts where a map change might have been more appropriate, which is understandable. There is like a financial condition in the bylaw that would tend to push someone that way. So I think changing the going to first class mail is a big cost reduction, and it will be much less burdensome. And, it retains the requirement to, that notice be given. So I'm in favor of this.
Thank you, Steve. I'm a yes also. Do we have a motion for favorable action on this?
I move favorable action on Article 40, Mr. Chair.
I have a second.
Second.
Rachel?
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Vincent?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
I'm a yes also. So we are voting yes for favorable action and also consent agenda. Okay? Article 41, administrative corrections to multifamily housing overlay district standards. Do you want to be a little brief summary on that?
Sure. This warrant article will delete a sentence that's included in section 5.8 of this bylaw, I believe. At any rate, it eliminates a provision that was put into the zoning bylaw as it relates to approval by EOHLC of our inclusionary zoning and whether or not it is applicable in the MBTA communities, the 3A overlay zones.
Rachel, do you have any comments on this?
Nope. Well, other than I think that this is, again, purely administrative and belongs on the consent agenda. We have now, the EOHLC has approved this provision, and therefore this is unnecessary.
Thank you. Shanna?
I'm in complete agreement with Rachel and have nothing further on this.
Vincent?
Same here.
Steve?
So yes, I would categorize this article as good hygiene. You know, the language was necessary when the multifamily district was adopted because we hadn't gotten approval from the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities to use our existing inclusionary zoning requirements. Having gotten that approval, I agree that the language is no longer necessary and should be removed. Thank you.
Okay, I agree also. Do we have a motion?
So I will move favorable action, Mr. Chair, on Article 41.
Also for the consent agenda too, right?
And for its recommendation on the consent agenda. Thank you.
Okay, we have a second on that.
Second?
Rachel?
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Vincent?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
I'm a yes too. All right, so that would be a yes to move ahead, and also consent agenda.
Yep.
Article 42, warrant article, parking and loading standards.
This article in the draft amendment would allow a drive aisle of 22 feet, rather, minimum width of 22 feet rather than 24 feet.
All right, Steve?
Okay, yes, Mr. Chair. When reviewing mixed-use projects, there has always been a tug-of-war between ground floor commercial space, which we'd like to see more of, and parking, which the bylaw requires. Narrowing the drive aisle is a small change, but it does create an opportunity for slightly larger commercial spaces. People have told the board that this is important, so I think it is worth doing, and I am supportive.
Vince?
I agree with what Steve said.
Shanna?
I also agree.
Rachel?
I'm in agreement.
Yes, I'm also in agreement. I think this brings it in with more updated standards. Most towns and cities have a smaller dimension. I think the 24 feet was something out of the 50s. So I think this is a good update. We're going to leave this as a favorable action, right? We're not putting this on a consent agenda, right? Okay. So do I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I move favorable action on Article 42.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Steve?
Yes.
Vince?
Yes.
Shanna?
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
I'm a yes too. Okay. Article 43, marquee signs. Want to do a brief description of that?
Sure, very briefly. Changes, this is a change in the zoning bylaw that would allow for electronic display on marquees only, I believe. And the board, this was one that was submitted by DPCD and the Economic Development Coordinator.
All right. Rachel?
I worked together with Katie to add some additional language based on our discussion during our hearing regarding illumination and limitation of the content of the display, as well as the integration of the display within the existing architecture of the marquee structure. So I'd be happy to hear anyone's comments on those recommended additions.
Shanna?
I have no comments on the additions. I think this is fine with me. I would recommend at town meeting, when this is presented, if it's possible to show an image of what this would look like, what it maybe looks like in another town, or even if necessary, a rendering of what it would look like. I think that would go a long way to conveying to the meeting members what it is we're talking about.
Thank you. Vincent?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. No comments. Thank you, Rachel, for working on this.
Steve?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Sevenberry. So my understanding is that this article was inspired by the town's two theaters, the Regent and the Capitol. They're historic Arlington institutions, and they predate me by generations. And they have they're old theaters with old marquee signs, and the venue operators would like to update them to use a more modern digital display technology. I think this is an example of updating our bylaws to change with the times, and it will help to keep businesses in town.
Thank you, Steve. So do I have a motion?
So, Mr. Chair, I will move favorable action on Article 43.
Oh, sorry, seeing no questions
Oh.
on Rachel's comments, the motion. Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, Rachel?
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Vincent?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
I'm a yes too, okay. So we'll move that ahead. Article 44, floodplain districts. Actually, that's Steve. Steve, you want to shoot this one here? Because you
Sure.
seem so in depth to this one here, and
Well, so, to make the long story short, I was asked to present this to a town group, and in preparing to do so, I've noticed what I thought was an ambiguity, and subsequently contacted the chair and the director and David and Mr. Morgan in the planning department to just sort of work on this. So in 575B, there's a sentence that starts, "The town of Arlington requires a permit for subject activities in the floodplain district."
Thank you.
And my question was, well, what kind of permit specifically is this referring to? Because it's a building permit, is it a special permit, is it some sort of wetlands permit? Mr. Morgan clarified that it is a special permit. So I think it would be appropriate to add that, bit of specificity. So, instead of the town of Arlington requires a permit, it would say the town of Arlington requires a special permit
Excuse me.
for subject activities in the floodplain district. There's a similar case in 575C, where a sentence begins, "The town's permit review process includes the requirements that the proponent," so I would suggest the town's special permit review process includes the requirements. So just basically adding the word special in two places.
Can I ask you a question about
Sure.
those changes? Would you see this in a project, and I'm saying this out loud, reacting so,
Real time, yep.
okay. Would there ever be a case where this would be a site plan review and that would be the permit? Which is not exactly a permit, but again, I'm just talking through.
Okay.
Is there another scenario that's not a special permit where this would need to be applied?
That is a good point. I know we have endeavored to keep the overlay districts, the MBTA
Out of
communities,
the floodplain.
out of the floodplain.
Yes.
But
Again, I'm
There's-
not sure
but
that there
no,
is,
no.
but permit is broad and could apply even, again, although that is a site plan review, that is not a permit in the same way that a special permit is considered, but it is still an approval mechanism, which is, I think, the intent of the word permit.
okay, no, I think that's fair. Another case would possibly be elevating a building. So, I agree. I take your point that there are cases where something, there may be work in a floodplain where the work itself is by right, but subject to floodplain conditions.
Vince?
If I may, these two paragraphs are coming from a boilerplate sort of state model zoning bylaw provisions, and they're not great language for a zoning bylaw because what they're doing is characterizing the process they want us to have, not necessarily just to be verbatim put into the zoning code. So I think adding the specificity of special permit is kind of unnecessary here. I think it's up to if we want to provide more specificity about the process, we should discuss that with the building inspector. But the intent of these two paragraphs is just to have the town reflect upon its process and make sure that there is one, which I think we do have a process in place.
Shayna?
I have no comments my colleagues have not already made
Okay.
on this matter.
So what I'm hearing is, we have a debate saying this may not be required or necessary, or yes, it is required. We just got to change some of the verbiage.
I think the debate is on whether we modify permit as per Steve's suggestion or not, but I don't think there is a debate, at least that I've heard, on the remaining verbiage that is proposed.
Vince?
Just a couple of other minor grammatical comments, if that's
Yeah, sure.
if this is the right time for it. So in 5.7.3b, 5.7.3 boundaries, in the third line there, the word special flood hazard are capitalized. The word areas should also be capitalized. It's a four-word defined term, special flood hazard areas. And then in 5.7.5 applicability, paragraph E, so just a couple after the other ones we were just talking about, I felt this would read better if we added a comma after the words the town's FIRM, and then a dash before and after the phrase including fill, new construction, substantial improvements, and other development within the adopted regulatory floodway. So just to clarify, I think the end text would, well, why don't I just send this to...
I would appreciate it if you,
Yeah.
you have your markups to send it to Sarah or Claire.
Exactly, and that's all I've got.
Okay.
Well, we will need to vote on it, so we just need to make sure we're clear on that, and I don't know if that's an editable.
It's
version.
entirely just a comma and two dashes to make the kind of subordinate clause.
I just want to make sure that we're all.
These are just
Can
grammar,
you
right? I mean, this is...
Can you say that the one in E, again, the town's firm, comma?
So in E, it would be the town's firm, which is the flood insurance rate
Yep.
map, comma,
Yep,
encroachments are prohibited, dash, including fill, new construction, etc., and going until within the within the adopted regulatory floodway, and then another dash, because that clause there is a subordinate.
yep.
Or
So if we vote on those changes tonight like this, as changed?
it doesn't change the meaning of the text at all, but it does make it easier to read.
Okay, do I have a motion for that?
Well, so
There-
since I'm doing it, can I make the motion to add a comma after FIRM, a dash between prohibited and including, and a dash between adopted regulatory floodway and unless it has been demonstrated?
And then there's one other, special
in-
permit.
Boundaries.
In 5.7.3, capitalize the word areas in special flood hazard areas. That's my motion.
Do we have a second on that?
And just to be clear, it is not to add special before permit.
Correct.
Yes, I would like to, after discussion with my colleagues, I would like to withdraw that suggestion.
Thank you, Steve. Do I have a second on that?
For
Second,
favorable action,
For favorable action, as amended.
as amended, yes.
Okay. Steve?
Yes.
Vince?
Yes.
Shanna?
Yes.
Rachel?
yes.
I'm a yes, too.
Great.
I'm hoping you got all the changes for that.
I wrote them in and we're recording the meeting now. so-
Okay, thank you. Okay, next one is warrant article number 45, portable and temporary signs. Do you want to just give a quick synopsis of that?
We are on Article 45, portable and temporary signs. This would change the total total sign area allowed would exclude wall banner signs, and it would allow exceptions to the number of portable or temporary signs allowed.
All right, open this for discussion. Steve?
Yes, so as the director said, this article would limit the number of temporary signs that a business can display and include their area in the total sign area calculation. I think it's a reasonable refinement that's in line with the spirit of our sign bylaw, and hopefully it will provide some motivation for business owners to replace their temporary wall signs with permanent ones.
Thank you, Steve. Vince?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have no comments. I'm in support. Thank you.
Shayna?
I am generally in support of this. I think the change in wall banners from 30 days, from 60 days to 30 days is not something I would advocate for, but it will not stop me from supporting this article as a whole, if my colleagues are comfortable moving forward with the 30 as opposed to the 60. I know
Thank you.
it has already been discussed.
Rachel?
I have a couple of questions, just some, what to me seem like inconsistencies that I just wanted to talk through. And Claire, I don't think Katie's with us tonight, so I'm not sure if you can answer this question or not. So Katie had struck, so under total sign area, where we have max 24 feet per business, she recommended, which I agree with, striking wall banner signs as being excluded. Is there a reason why window signs would not also be included in the maximum of 24 square feet, especially given the challenges we are having with the proliferation of unnecessary unnecessary window signs as a temporary nature in businesses?
I am not sure why window signs was not struck. I think that it likely had to do with temporary window signs, such as things like sale signs or special event signs, things of that nature. But unfortunately, Ms. Lusai isn't here tonight to answer that question.
Any thoughts from the board members about keeping that versus also removing window signs? And my thought was, again, I was trying to make a case for why window signs would remain if we're removing wall banner signs. You could also then remove what is a duplicate reference of the total sign area must not exceed 24 square feet per business, which is below in the number of signs, which is already defined in the total sign area.
Rachel, would this change the warrant article, or is it still varied enough where it can incorporate?
That is a great question.
I see your point. I just don't.
It is related to temporary signs. The whole section is related to temporary signs, so I believe that it is all within scope.
Okay.
But I'm also fine saving it or keeping it if it's an unknown.
I do, I guess, have a question here because we previously had not struck wall banner signs. So previously, wall banner signs and window signs had the ability to exceed the 24 square feet, correct? And so now we are limiting wall banner signs in a way that we weren't in the previous hearing. And I'm trying to follow what the reasoning was for that. I don't know if anyone recalls if Ms. Lusai had a reason that we wanted to do that.
My recollection, and this is just my recollection, that one of Ms. Lusai's goals was to encourage businesses to switch over, to replace their temporary signs with permanent ones. And I think in that context, you might be going from, say, a vinyl banner that's so many square feet to a permanently mounted sign that's so many square feet. They're one's temporary, one's permanent, but they're sort of serving the same purpose?
For example, I'll give you a very concrete example. The Roasted Granola put up a temporary sign when they opened their business 8 years ago, and it has not come down. And it is a large sign that I would assume exceeds.
But that's covered by the time limitation under wall banner.
Understood, but I think Katie was looking for, again, as to why she included it, what she communicated to us was she was looking for more teeth to be able to go back to.
Right.
But again, in my mind, either you just leave that section alone or you take both of them out.
Shanna, you have an opinion on this?
I think the time limit is what I am looking for here, as opposed to both the window and the wall being limited in square footage.
I'd certainly be more inclined to support it with just the time limit and not the additional limit on this area of wall banner signs.
Steve?
Yeah, I think that's fine. Which is to say the time limit and the limit of one A-frame, but restoring the text under in the table row on page 16 of our draft report where it says total sign area. It sounds like there's. I would be supportive of restoring the words wall banner signs and.
Are you okay with that, Rachel? Or?
I'm fine with that. Again, I'm fine with that change. The other inconsistency that's in here, under number of signs, we limit the business to one A-frame sign or upright sign and one temporary wall banner, which I am in agreement with. Again, I think you need to take out the total sign area must not exceed 24 square feet of a business because that contradicts what is up above if we're going to leave in wall banner signs. And I think that if she's adding max one per business to A-frame or upright sign under wall banners, we also need to add maximum of one per business because she added one per business under number of signs. And, we should net it to one and not the other.
Is the rest of the,
I'd agree.
Vince, Shanna?
I agree.
Okay, I'm in agreement here. Do we have okay, let me start. Do we have a motion to amend, you want to start off with this?
Yeah, I'll summarize the amendments. So a motion to recommend favorable action with the amendments of restoring the text wall banner signs and under total sign area, removing the suggested added text, the total sign area must not exceed 24 feet per business under number of signs, since that is covered above in total sign area, and to add the text max one per business to, on page 17, the area that is described by, in the section wall banner, under signs may only be displayed for a maximum of 30 calendar days per calendar year.
Okay. Is that a
Second.
motion?
Second that?
Which, I'm sorry, is that a motion?
Yes, I
Okay,
recommend
okay.
a motion to recommend favorable action with
Okay,
those
and I
amendments.
got your second on that, Vince, right? Steve?
Yes.
Vince?
Yes.
Shanna?
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
I'm a yes also. Okay.
Yep. Made some minutes.
Okay. Next on our warrant article 46 animal daycare use. Do you want to do a quick little summary on this?
Sure, this would allow animal daycare use in all business districts by special permit, except B4 where it would be allowed by right. It does not include overnight boarding of any animals.
Okay. Is there any discussion on this? Starting with Steve?
I am supportive. I think there's a demand for animal daycare services in town, and there are business owners who would like to start, who'd like to have these kind of businesses in town. So I think it makes sense to expand the area where this type of use is allowed.
Okay. Vince?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I agree. This is a use that makes sense by right in, I'm going to get it wrong, RB4.
B4.
Thank you. And special permit gives appropriate protections in the other business districts, so I support this.
Thank you. Shayna?
I'm in agreement.
Rachel?
Nothing more to add.
Okay, I'm in agreement too. Do we have a motion here, please?
So, Mr. Chair, I'll move favorable action on Article 46.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Steve?
Yes.
Vince?
Yes.
Shayna?
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
I'm a yes also, okay. Next on the thing is warrant article number 47, definition of building height. You want to give a quick one on this one?
Sure,
Claire?
This would better define for buildings in the floodplain overlay district where the building height takes its measurements from. I believe Mr. Revelak worked on this with Mr. Klein from the ZBA.
Thank you. Any comments? Starting with Steve.
Yes, I see this as a resiliency measure. And one of the main benefits could be to, in making it possible for people who own homes in the floodplain districts to elevate their buildings so that they're above the base flood elevation. In the past, we've talked about doing more comprehensive zoning for flood resiliency, and it would be nice to do that at some point, but I think this is a meaningful, incremental, step in that direction. Thank you.
Vince?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Nothing else to add. I'm in support.
Shayna?
I'm in support, and I would just say at town meeting, when it's time to present this, Steve, you and Christian raised that someone had come to ZBA looking to elevate a home and was not able to do so. I think that will be a valuable conversation to have. Otherwise, this could end up being framed as a benefit to developers, where that is not the intention, where that may be an outcome but is not the intention behind it. So that's all I'll say.
Thank you. Rachel?
No comments.
I'm a supporter of this also. Do I have a motion to favorable action on this?
Mr. Chair, I would like to motion for favorable action on Article 47.
No.
Second.
Steve?
Yes.
Vince?
Yes.
Shayna?
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
I'm a yes also. Okay. Next is warrant article number 48, residential parking. Do you want to do a quick subs of this?
Sure, very quickly. This warrant article clarifies that section 6.1.10.A1 and 2, location of parking spaces and parking in residential areas, will also include the multifamily housing overlay districts.
Thank you. Rachel, do you have any comments on this?
No, this is in many ways an administrative administrative addition to ensure that it is clear which standard is referenced, so I'm in favor.
Shayna?
I'm also in favor.
Vincent?
I give this one a second reading, and the one place where I don't agree that this would be just an administrative change and where I actually don't support the change is 6.1.10A2, which adds a restriction to the number of driveways for properties in the multifamily housing overlay district. which, I think that restriction is appropriate for the other uses or districts that are listed there, the R0, R1, R2, R3, and R4. But I don't think it's really appropriate or necessary for all multifamily buildings. For example, the Inles Court project and others have 2 driveways, and that seems to be appropriate. So I would ask the board if there would be support for striking the changes just to section 6.1.10A2. Other than that, I'm in support, and the rest of it seems pretty, like you said, administrative and straightforward to me.
Steve?
I am contemplating Mr. Bedoin's suggestion.
What's the rest of that sentence?
While Steve's contemplating, do you mind if I moved on to someone else?
Well, I think Steve is the last person.
So just to answer Ms. Corman-Houston's question, the rest of the sentence basically says unless the special permit granting authority authorizes additional driveways by special permit.
Got it.
I take your point. So you're, in terms of, like, say, a corner lot having 2 exits, and where there is a special permit requirement for that now, it's not something we could actually do in conjunction with a by right development.
It would seem to bump that standard up to a special permit standard, whereas otherwise it would be a by right development.
Yeah, so I would agree with striking the words, striking that phrase under 6110A2. Yeah.
All right. I would disagree with that one there. I would like to leave that one in unless approved by a special permit or such, because I think sometimes having those corner lots and having much bigger buildings, sometimes it's good to take if you can, take the driveway off of some of the side streets and put them on the major streets. And when you allow two driveways, you don't have the ability to grant it. If there's a hardship, we can certainly do it. I don't think it's that big of a deal, and they're already presenting already. So I don't think it's any additional burden on the owner or developer. I think it just gives us a safety valve to look at this so that we can focus on keeping the major traffic on the major roads and keeping some traffic off the side roads. That's my opinion. Okay. Yes, Vince.
Because I spoke before, and I just want to clarify, because Ms. Corman-Houston was asking what the remainder of the language said. And let me correct what I said before. Only one driveway is permitted on a lot unless the special permit granting authority finds that a second driveway, et cetera, may be added. So it's a finding. It's not actually using the phrase a special permit.
That is correct.
So
that's what it is right now.
I think I can be more comfortable with that in that context.
So you're going to withdraw your change?
I would still propose it, but I'm not hearing much support. So I'm fine with this if we don't make the change I'm suggesting.
Okay. Do we have a motion without the change or with the change?
So, Mr. Chair, I'll move approval, remove favorable action of Article 48 as published in the staff memo dated March 30th, 2026.
Second.
That's no change, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Keep it simple for me. Steve?
Yes.
Vince?
Well, I'll still vote no, but I think we're better than I thought we were.
Okay. Shannon?
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
I'm a yes too. Okay. 4-1?
Yes,
That
making
one
a
there.
note.
Okay. Okay, next one is warrant Article 49, home occupations. Do you want to do a brief one on this, sir?
Yep, this one is just to see if the town will vote to amend the zoning bylaw to add, modify, or remove definitions and regulations related to home occupations. And I believe the proponent of this article is with us this evening.
I don't think we're going to ask.
Should the board have any questions?
Sure, okay,
Or need clarification?
thank you. Does the board have any comments on this, starting with Steve?
Yeah, I'm supportive. We know that commercial space is in short supply in Arlington, and there are a lot of mismatches between what's available and what small businesses are looking for. I mean, we have a brewing company that operated out of the owner's home for several years before they were finally able to locate a space a couple of months ago. I think there are a number of people who run businesses out of their home in town, and Article 49 will provide them with some extra flexibility. For example, being able to hire a second person, which I believe was also the case with the brewery. So I think it protects the quiet enjoyment aspect that people expect from residential districts while giving small entrepreneurs, a little more option. Thank you.
Okay. Vince?
So first, just one comment on I think we are removing any limit on the number of pupils, except in the case of music instruction. So you'd be limited to 3 pupils if you were doing music instruction, but an unlimited number of pupils for other forms of instructions. At least that's my reading of it. We're striking a restriction in one place, and then we're adding a restriction, and let me see if I can get this right, in apologies, I'm just looking for the word pupils. Okay, in paragraph 10 of 5.9.1b, the requirements, so paragraph 10 reads, home occupations shall not include personal service establishments, commercial stables or kennels, or teaching of more than 3 pupils at a time in the case of music instruction. And my suggestion there would be to remove the phrase in the case of music instruction, and therefore we would have a requirement of no more than 3 pupils, period.
Thank you. Shanna?
I think I would be fine with that. I think that the time limits stated in paragraph 11 are overly restrictive. The general business noise limits in town are 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. I would suggest changing the hours here to match those hours. And then in 13, I thought that the example language, by way of example, actually muddied the waters a little bit, and I would suggest striking that language. That's what I had.
Where exactly was that you want to strike?
So in paragraph 13, a
Yep.
home occupation shall not. The second sentence begins by way of example, and the whole rest of that paragraph, I think, is confusing, and I would suggest striking by way of example all the way through the end of that paragraph.
Okay. Thank you. Are there anything else, Shanna?
That's it.
Rachel?
I have a couple additional changes I would suggest. I think overall, I'll just start by saying overall, I think this is a substantially different article than was proposed last year, and I just want to make sure that we identify that in the report. The proposal last year, the the proposal that came in front of the redevelopment board, not the motion that, the substitute motion on the floor, was for the addition of a significant broadening of commercial use in the residential district. So there were a couple of questions during the hearing that I think, again, we should just make clear in the board report that this is only regarding home occupations of a small number of one employee in addition to the resident. There are a couple of small changes under purpose. I don't love using words like wider or more in the zoning bylaw. This is an evergreen document. So under 5.9.1A purpose, I think if you just removed the word wider, the purpose of this section is to promote economic opportunities for Arlington residents, et cetera, that would be better than including the word wider. I would also agree with Shayna that removing in the case of music instruction, I believe that was you who suggested that, where we are limiting the number of Vince, I would agree that only limiting it for music instruction doesn't seem to make sense, so I would ask that that be removed. And again, ultimately, I think one of the proponents is here tonight, James. So ultimately, again, any suggestions we make, you would need to agree with for us to be able to, it's your motion, and ultimately, if you are not in agreement, we can vote on this as proposed, or you would need to agree to these changes before we take a vote, because it is your motion. In terms of the signage, and I had brought this up, I'm curious to what others think. There was a way that this has been slightly changed in terms of Section 6.2.1, there was a provision that was added under exemptions. I think that's unnecessary. I'd rather just have this refer to the underlying zoning where the residents, there is a section that specifically deals with single-family residential and other residential uses. It's in, let me see here, it's in section...
Well, the residential sign district?
Yes, the residential sign district. So I would rather see that referenced than trying to come up with a reference to porch signs. Not every, sorry, let me just get back to that. I'm sorry, I'm going between a couple different documents here. Yeah, I think that there are several options there which relate to the building's architecture, and again, if you're in a multifamily, an apartment building, for directories, I think that we have already dealt with what that looks like in various residential properties in the signage bylaw, and that this adds confusion and perhaps misapplication, especially in multifamily properties. So I would recommend taking 9 out. That's 6.2.1E9 as proposed. I also agree with Shayna that the hours should align with the town bylaws rather than 8 to 9 to use 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. as the restriction. those were my edits.
James, do you mind just stepping up here to the microphone here, please? James, you heard this ultimately is your warrant article, okay? But you heard the suggested changes to the warrant article. Are you agreeable to those changes, or do you want us to vote on your warrant article as is?
Can we get a very brief summary of the changes?
So I think I can take a crack at that. I've been taking
Sure.
notes.
Thank you, Steve.
So in 591A purpose, so where the sentence begins, the purpose of this section is to promote wider economic opportunities. There is a proposal to strike wider so that it reads, the purpose of this section is to promote economic opportunities. So in 591B10, home occupation shall not include personal service establishments, commercial stables or kennels, or teaching of more than 3 pupils at a time in the case of music instruction. There, the suggestion is to strike in the case of music instruction, so no more than 3 pupils at a time.
Irrespective of the use.
Correct.
Irrespective of, okay, that's
Yeah,
fine.
music or not.
That's fine.
So in moving down to 591B11, so the hours, customers shall not visit the premises outside the hours of, it currently reads 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., and I think the suggestion was 7 a.m. to 9 p.m.?
That's right.
Okay. And then in number 13, a home occupation shall not change the zoning classification of the property in question and shall not affect any zoning relief previously obtained for such property, period. Then cut the rest of that section off. So it would remove the sentence by way of example only and without limitation through the end of the sentence.
I think I more or less copied the ADU. There's a similar section to the ADU
Yes.
bylaw. Do you think it's unnecessary to have that in there? Because running a commercial something maybe makes it questionably mixed use?
I found it more confusing, but if you think it's useful, I'm not going to vote against this article
Sure.
based on that sentence.
The reason I had included it was in the ADU bylaw, it clarifies that if you are, say, a single family home with an ADU, you are not a 2-family. So this is the same style of thing, but it is basically to say you will not be classified as mixed use if you are running a home occupation out of your home.
Shannon, do you withdraw your request, or you want to modify that based on your conversation with James?
I don't think that's what it says, though. Shall not be classified as, okay, yeah, I withdraw my request, that's fine.
Okay.
Continue,
And,
Steve?
and the last suggestion, I believe, would be in the sign section of the bylaw, 621E, where there is a proposal to add item 9, non-illuminated signs which advertise a home occupation provided the sign does not exceed 2 square feet in sign area. And I believe the proposal is to strike item 9.
It's that, and I should have articulated this together with it, it's to strike that together with 5.9.1B4, where you indicate 1 sign is permitted per home occupation pursuant to section 6.2.1E9. We would indicate signage is permitted per section 6.2.1 and refer them just to the signage bylaws where we already have a residential signage
Okay.
district.
That's fine. What I had read was, my reading of that was that the signage was residential in nature and not commercial, as currently written in the sign bylaw. So if you think the clarification is unnecessary because it's implied, then I'm okay with the change. But that was why I had included this in there.
I will answer your
So-
question in just a second.
I
Yep.
thought it was
Like, do you
residential.
mean, James, where an apartment building might have a sign that says James's apartment building? Is that?
No,
is that
no.
what you have
There
in
was
mind?
already a section. I don't have the number in my head. It had a sign mentioned of about 2 square feet, but the text associated with it, I think, to me, it implied that it was not for a commercial purpose, and this sign would very much be for commercial purpose. I don't have the section in front of me.
Residential sign district.
It doesn't specifically, it's section 6.2.5B, standards for permanent signs, where it talks about the residential sign district. It says signage is limited as a variety of allowed signage types could detract from the desired residential character, but it does not say that it is specifically
Okay.
for residential uses. It does prohibit it to porch signs. There is a very small square footage for wall signs, window signs, a directory sign, or a mobility station.
Okay, I'm okay with the changes as proposed for that then.
Thank you. So with that said, do I have a?
Sorry, I have one addition.
Okay.
To what Shana, and again, I would like my other board members' input on this one, because I think we disagreed when James was here prior in 5.9.1B9. There's an example about a painter selling their artwork and whether a frame constitutes incidental products that I think is unnecessary to include the example. Steve, I think you were in favor of it, so I still feel like it's unnecessary and not in keeping with the way that we write our zoning language, but I am curious as to what the other board members feel about that.
So I agree, and it's sort of in keeping with my comment about 5.9.1.B 13, but I also am curious what the other board members feel about that.
I don't
Vince?
I don't see much harm in keeping it, but I would be fine with your suggestion, Rachel, to take this out. So what the language would be left with, just to be clear, is the home occupation may include the on-premises sale of articles produced by the home occupation and of items incidental to said products. Otherwise, no items shall be sold on the premises.
Correct.
It's fine with me.
Yeah, fine with me too.
I'm okay with that too. James?
I'm okay with that as long as you think that's sufficiently clear.
I think
Yeah, I
the 4 of
think
us,
so.
5 of us have. Okay. Is there any additional changes?
So I just want to understand what we would have to do with the sign changes, and I'm not really in favor, because I think it's nice to have a sign, but so the proposed amendment is striking language in 5.9.1B4. We would restore that language. We would remove the added text saying one sign is permitted.
No, let me clarify.
Thank you.
Thank you for the clarifying question. So I'm not suggesting to reinstate the current language in 5.9.1B4. It would be to maintain what he has struck, but in lieu of what he has added, to indicate that one sign per home occupation is allowable pursuant to section 6.2.1. And then it is referred to the, when you go to that section, based on which residential district you're in, you are moved to the residential, you naturally then would follow the residential sign district.
So the sign bylaw effectively takes over from there. Or whatever the classification is takes over.
Okay.
And again, if others feel like this is more appropriate. It's not the hill I'm going to die on in this one, but my concern is you're in again, we had conversations around being in a multifamily, and having potentially multiple signs. Here, at least, if there is a building that has multiple home occupations, you have the option of being more directive around, it's a porch sign, it's a wall sign, it's a window sign. It's not a sign, it's not a canopy sign, it's not a projecting sign. I mean, it's more directive as to what you do with the sign and where it lives, as opposed to just the square footage, which is also covered in the signage bylaw. But I just feel like the allowed sign types are more directive and appropriate to the architecture of the building once you go to this section.
Let me start with Vince. Are you okay with that explanation, or you still have?
But again, if you all feel that the other is
No, I think
clearer,
that would be fine with me if it's okay with the proponent. I think that leaves us with something that may be still a little restrictive in the case of, for example, a two-family where both units have a home occupation. I'm not sure if that's likely to happen, but the limitation in the residential sign district is maximum of one sign. And it's not quite clear to me whether that's per property or per dwelling unit.
I think it's a fair point.
I think these are things that could be worked out in the future, and I'm fine with the suggestion that you're making.
So, just to be clear enough, are you okay with all the suggestions to date right now?
Yes.
Okay, so you want us to vote on the warrant article with the changes?
I'll actually, I see Vince's point.
So you want to?
And I'll withdraw the comment about the signage. I think we can work through the signage in the future as we start to see those come forward
All right, hold on.
in application.
That part of the withdraw thing. Sorry, we just want bing banging. I just want to make sure we can capture everything correctly, okay?
I see Vince's point about the multiple, especially in the.
That makes sense.
Yep. So
Okay.
I'll withdraw my changes to the signage.
All right. Steve, you've been taking good notes, right?
So would you like a summary again?
Yes, start from again, just so we're all on the same page. I
same
don't
page.
want there to be any confusion here what we're voting on.
Okay, so 591A, the purpose. Strike the word wider in the purpose of this section is to promote wider economic opportunities. I believe we're leaving 591B4 as proposed. Okay. In 591B9, we're striking the sentence, by way of example only and without limitation. A home-based painter selling their artwork on premises may also sell frames for artwork even if the frames were not made by the home occupation. In 591B10, we're striking in the case of music instruction from the clause or the teaching of more than 3 pupils at a time in the case of music instruction. In 591B11, we're changing the hours of 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. to 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. In 591B13, we're striking the sentence by way of example only and without limitation, etc. And we are also striking the addition in 621E9.
Can you repeat 591B13? I thought we had.
I think I withdrew that one,
Oh,
Steve.
yes, Ms. Corman Houston did withdraw that. So 591B13 remains as is, or remains as proposed.
That's it?
I approve.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion for favorable action on this?
Mr. Chair, I will move favorable action on Article 49 as amended.
I'll second.
Thank you. Steve?
Yes.
Vince?
Yes.
Shayna?
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
I'm a yes also. Okay, thank you very much for this chair debate. We move on to Article 50, Amendment to Arlington zoning maps. You want to read from this, Clerk?
Sure. This is to see if the town will vote to adopt changes to the Arlington zoning map that would rezone a certain parcel in the R1 district, specifically a portion of Zero Lot Concord Turnpike, with the assessor's identification number, or take any action. This was a very short presentation by developers of a proposed senior living facility to the board in the past few weeks.
Thank you. Do we have any debate about this? Let's start with,
Mr. Chair, a point of information.
there's no public comment on this
I think
tonight.
these facts would be good for the public at home to hear.
No, there's no public
yes.
comment on this tonight.
It's not a comment, it's just
Oh,
a
there's no
point
comment
of
on this.
definition of this Article 50.
There's no comment on this right now, okay?
Why St. Camilla's Church name was not included at all in the warrant article.
There's no comment on this right now, okay, sir? If you want to, you could please submit some paperwork to us or speak in open forum, okay? But right now, we're not up for debate. This is.
It's not a debate. This is just a point of information that's not
Sorry,
correct.
sir.
There's no transparency here at all. You're not telling anybody that it's about St. Camilla's Parish.
We've been doing this for many years, this whole process. Okay. So is there any comments on this with Steve?
Yes, I am supportive of the map change and, the general long-term plan to establish an assisted living facility at the site, although, that's just the intention. This is only one step in the process. People are living longer, and over time, I see the need for such facilities growing. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Vince?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So understanding that we're not voting on a particular project tonight, I still think that this zoning change would allow for a development that would be beneficial in terms of providing a place to live for senior citizens, providing some additional jobs in Arlington, and still at a scale that is not inappropriate for the site. So I'm in support. I do have one very minor typo in the use table where it reads maximum floor area ration rather than maximum floor area ratio. And even though that's not part of the proposed change, it should just be corrected for the report. Thank you.
Thank you. Shayna?
I am also in favor of this with the understanding that any project that were to be undertaken on this parcel would likely undergo site plan review.
Thank you. Rachel?
I'm also in favor for all of the reasons stated by my colleagues.
I'm in agreement with the board. Do I have a motion, please?
So, Mr. Chair, I move favorable action on Article 50.
I'll second.
Steve?
Yes.
Vince?
Yes.
Shayna?
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
I'm a yes also. Thank you. Now we move on to warrant article number 51, amendment to zoning bylaw table of dimensions and density requirements.
This is a request to amend dimensional and density regulations of the Arlington zoning bylaw to add the following under the R6 district: assisted living residence on more than 20,000 square feet, 50 feet in height, 3 stories, 1.2 floor area ratio.
Thank you. Do we have any comments or discussions on this? Article 51, starting with Rachel.
I'm in favor of this change. I know that we reviewed this in a hearing, and there was a question around the inclusion or not of the limitation or the requirement that this be on 20,000 square feet or more. It looks like the proponent left that in. I am in favor of that, although I would have also been in favor had that been struck.
Thank you. Shayna?
Nothing further. I am in favor of this.
Vincent?
No additional comments.
Steve?
Nothing further here.
I have no additional comments on this too. Do I have a motion, please?
So, Mr. Chair, I will move favorable action on Article 51.
Do
Second?
Thank you. Steve?
Yes.
Vince?
Yes.
Shayna?
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
I'm a yes also. Thank you. Warrant article number 52, rezoning of certain parcels from R1 to R2. Do you want to make a comment on this?
Sure. The comment I have is that there is a map exhibit for this on page 39 of the staff memo. And this is parcels that are, specifically parcels that are located on Norcross Street, North Union Street, Gardner Street, and Granton Park.
Thank you. Let's start with the board on this and start with Vincent.
I guess I should just double check. Does anyone know if there were any changes made to the map since we heard this article?
I don't believe so.
Okay, thank you. I am in support.
Thank you. Shayna?
I am not opposed. I do think, and they were certainly quite candid about their goals and strategies, why they had focused on the particular areas that they focused on. I would be interested to hear from my colleagues about whether you want to take this approach now or take a broader, more holistic approach in future years. I could go either way. As I say, I'm not opposed, but it is unfortunate that it doesn't sort of look at a broader neighborhood.
Rachel? Thank you.
Thank you. Shayna, I appreciate that perspective. I am in favor of moving forward with this particular proposal, but I agree with you that I think, to me, the conversation that we had around this being an interesting alternative to look at in terms of where some of our inconsistent zoning that leaves pockets that are perhaps more appropriate to be in the R2 district than the R1 district or other districts exist. And given the interest at town meeting and looking at expanding opportunities in town to allow for two-family and duplex development, that this might be an interesting step forward in terms of looking at the map more holistically. But until that time, I have no problem recommending action on this particular proposal that came forward from the citizen petition.
Thank you, Rachel. Steve?
So yeah, I think this is a targeted measure to rezone a handful of parcels in a way that provides some flexibility to the property owners and, make some what are currently non-conforming uses conforming. Prior to Arlington redrawing its map in 1975, all of these parcels were zoned R2. So I have no reservations about going back to that.
Thank you, Steve. I'm totally in agreement with the board, and I support this. So do I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I will move favorable action on Article 52.
Thank
Second?
you. Thank you. Steve?
Yes.
Vincent?
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
I'm a yes too. Thank you. Now let's move on to Article 53, administrative clarification to bonus provisions for multifamily development. Do you want to start with this?
Sure. Just a second. Going back and forth. This is a warrant article that seeks to clarify the definition of the words where the ground floor at the street level will be at least 60% occupied by eating and drinking establishments business services, childcare, or retail uses, so as to clarify the proportion of the ground floor that must be occupied by the specified commercial uses in order to qualify for the bonus provision in the Mass Ave Broadway multifamily housing overlay district, excuse me.
Thank you. I'd like to read a little paragraph that's coming from me first before we deliberate, if that's okay with the rest of the board. I've been getting a lot of emails back from a lot of by the town, and I want to make this statement. The ARB has not arbitrarily reinterpreted the bylaws. I want to address this criticism and false narrative that has been circulating about these issues concerning commercial area calculations. First, the quote, "Everything under the horizontal projection of the roof or floor above, as stated in Mass Law 780 CMR 502.1, definition refers to building area, not the ground floor area. Also, as stated in the following code sections, 780 CMR 1002.1, gross floor area is defined as the floor area within the inside perimeter of exterior walls of a building under consideration, exclusive of vent shafts, courts, without deduction of corridors, stairways, closets, and the thickness of interior walls, columns, or other features." Another point is the town assessor in Arlington based their square footage calculation for taxation purposes using two different rates. One rate for the enclosed ground floor area and a different rate for the open parking spaces underneath the building. With these factors in mind, the redevelopment board voted 3-2 to interpret the MBTA bonus for ground floor area to be based on enclosed ground floor space. I can see there might be some confusion with people pushing misleading arguments for these who understand what we did, but still chose to spread false information to advance their own agenda. It is true, it would be a subversion of democratic function of town meeting. That's my statement. Are there any other comments that from the board? And I'd like to start with Steve.
Yeah, so this article, I think, is strikingly similar to last year's no net loss of commercial space petition. And I'm going to object to it, this year's proposal for the same reason I was opposed to last year's version, namely because I think it will reduce the opportunities for mixed-use development, in this case specifically on the Mass Ave and Broadway corridors in the Mass Ave Broadway multifamily district. I mean, the bonus provisions in Section 5.8 were intended to be incentives. So during public outreach and discussion, we heard one of the sentiments that boiled to the top was residents' desire to have more space for small businesses. And the mixed-use bonus was basically intended to accommodate that. So, at the end of the day, I think, what people actually would want to see is more space for small businesses. So I do think that this is not likely to, create spaces that are any larger because it doesn't address the other main consumer of space on the ground, which is parking. And the likely effects will be reduced upper stories, fewer dwellings, fewer homes, or just people neglecting to use the mixed-use bonus in general. Thank you.
Thank you. Vince?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I agree with what you've said as well as what Mr. Revelak has said. This isn't a real administrative clarification. I think it's more of an attempt. Its effect, whether or not this is the intent, its effect would be to reduce the size of both the residential portion of projects and also the size or even the possibility of having a commercial space in these small mixed-use projects, just because of the difficulty of fitting in the ground floor services and the required parking which it would be a real shame for both our Mass Ave and Broadway corridors where this bonus applies. And in addition, this proposal adds some confusion to me because we're kind of redefining ground floor area as including both not enclosed and non-enclosed portions of the ground floor, which seems to then bring up to me the question of, would like an unenclosed restaurant dining terrace count towards their ground floor area, or a bank drive-through, would that count towards their ground floor area commercial space? And so I don't think it clarifies anything. I would support some version of this amendment because I do think, if the ground floor were truly shrunk down, we could have some very small commercial spaces, but we haven't seen that come up. And I don't think there's any changes that they could make under this warrant article that I would be able to support. So I'm a no on this one. Thank you.
Thank you. Shayna?
Thank you. I think my colleagues have articulated my position very well, and I have nothing further.
Rachel?
I am in support of this article. I do believe that this is the appropriate way that we need to define the ground floor area specific to the meaningfully sized commercial development that was contemplated when this was approved by town meeting, and in all of the discussions and hearings that we had as a redevelopment board leading up to the final warrant article. For the magnitude of the bonus provided and the sizes of these developments, we should be receiving meaningful commercial development spaces. So I'm in favor.
Thank you, Rachel. I think I made myself clear earlier. Vincent?
Yeah, just add one more thing is that, there's a lot of different terms. The term building area is defined in our zoning code as being the sum of the horizontal projections of the building, I think, at any floor. And if town meeting had wanted, in drafting the article, to refer to 60% of the building area, that would have been the language that town meeting chose, but town meeting specifically chose to say 60% of the ground floor area. So I think, some version of this, that if it's going to be successful, it has to take into account that the ground floor is not like any other floor, and there's a lot of demand on that space, including perhaps relaxing parking requirements or finding some way to make sure that we still get all of the things that we need. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any additional comments on this? I would like a recommendation, please.
I move no action on Article 53.
Second.
We have a second, okay. Steve?
Yes, yes,
No action.
no action.
No action.
Vincent?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
I'm a yes. So the vote's 4-1, okay?
I made a note.
Thank you. I'd like to move on to warrant article number 54, traffic visibility.
Article 54 seeks to amend the zoning bylaw to permit buildings, structures, or vegetation across street corners if it can be shown they will not restrict visibility in such a way as to hinder the safe transit of a vehicle through the subject intersection. This mostly relates to fences.
Yes. Turn to the board. Is there any discussions on this? Starting with Steve.
So I'm supportive. I think that the petitioner has done a lot of work in this and has given, thought to subtle details. But I think my main reason for supporting it is there is, part of 5312, the B section, does have a provision that allows for things next to a driveway as long as you can prove they don't hinder visibility. So I think it makes sense to add that consideration to 5312A.
Thank you, Steve. Vince?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I said before that I was not convinced there was a high degree of hardship, but when in doubt, I think I'll vote in favor of providing some relaxation and relief for the properties in question. I want to say I do appreciate the extra correspondence that the proponent has provided, thorough research, and so I would be supportive of this as well.
Thank you, Vince. Shanna?
So I also appreciate the hard work of the proponent. You've done a really excellent job here. I cannot get beyond Mike Champa's recommendation, or more specifically, Mike Champa's concerns. So I am not in favor of this.
Thank you. Rachel?
I agree. I was not in favor of this article when we heard it 2 years ago. I still have concerns, again, that Mike Champa is not in support of it. I think as he does it, it creates more problems than it solves, and it promotes the use of types of fences that we perhaps don't want to see in town.
I also am not in favor of this, and I think I voted not in favor of this 2 years ago when this first came up. I truly want to give her credit for all the work she's did in this and all the hard work, and this is a pretty good presentation. I just think I'm just wanting to simplify regulations right now. This town is one of the top 5 towns that with regulations. And I don't think there's that much need for it right now. There's not that much of an issue. So I would not be in favor of this. I would maybe ask for a variance if one thing does come up, but for now, I don't see this as a big issue. So I am not in favor. Is there a motion from the board?
I'd motion to recommend no action on Article 54.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Steve?
No.
Vince?
No.
Shannon?
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
I'm a yes. So, thank you. Okay, we're on to the next. Article 55, administrative clarifications to the bonus provision and multifamily development.
This is, this article seeks to clarify language specific to the calculation of the number of affordable units that must be constructed in order to qualify for the 1-floor and 2-floor bonus provisions of this section in the Mass Ave Broadway multifamily housing overlay district.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any discussions from the board? Let's start with Rachel.
When we debated the way that this particular bonus provision was to be read, I had a different read than the majority of the board. However, it was not this read that is being proposed. I am not in favor of yet a different way of rounding than we have already included in section 8.2.3. I think what would have been helpful in my view is to write this article such that the metric of at least 22.5%, which in some cases is the higher of the threshold between 8.2.3 and the metric that's in our bonus standard, was followed, but that's not what this article does, so I cannot support it.
Thank you. Shannon?
I also am not able to support 2 different metrics. It just causes messes, and can't vote for this.
Vince?
Thank you. Yeah, first of all, I should say I believe we share a goal, and I mean we very broadly, the town, the board, a goal of making sure that there are meaningful options for affordable housing. When we had the hearing for this article, I expressed support, but that was before hearing some of the feedback from my colleagues on the board, and I kind of agree that if town meeting wants to adjust the percentage, it should do so, but we don't want to add multiple methods of rounding and calculating percentages. the more I think about the wording in the current bylaw, which says at least, it's not clear to me that that language was intended to change the method of calculation of a fractional unit. I think the intent of the language was just to say, you know, at least 25% rather than exactly 25% or more than 25%. And so if we want to make changes, let's amend the bylaw to change the percentages, but I'm not in support of this way of changing them. Thank you.
Thank you. Steve?
Yeah, I concur. I would prefer that we have one standard for converting percentages into whole units, and you know, to the extent there's a desire to, you know, perhaps revisit, you know, what the bonus thresholds are, that should be done through modifying the percentage requirements.
Thank you. Is the proponent here?
I don't believe the proponent is here this evening, no.
Okay. Since the proponent's not here today, I would have asked them a question if they're willing to make changes back to the way it was before. You might get more votes, but since they're not here, we're going to have to accept it as submitted. I also concur with a few of my board members that I can't vote for it the way it is right now, the way it's written and submitted right now. So I'll leave it at that for now. Do I have a motion for this?
Mr. Chair, I will move no action on Article 55.
Second.
Thank you. Rachel?
Yes, for no action.
Yes. Shayna?
Yes.
Vince?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
I'm also a yes. Okay, and that's for no action, okay. We're on Article number 56, Development Standards of Off-Street Parking and Bicycle Parking.
The next two articles deal with basically relief in the zoning bylaw for properties in which 100% of the new units will be affordable. The first is the development standards as they relate to bicycle parking, where the redevelopment board may allow for the reduction of long-term bicycle parking, the long-term bicycle parking requirement to 66% of that required in the MB, MF, and NMF overlay districts, again, for properties in which 100% of the new units will be affordable.
Thank you. Is there any discussions on this from the board from this, starting with Rachel?
I am supportive with the intent of this, as we discussed with the applicant during the hearing. Unfortunately, I believe it's in the wrong section. I think that it should be much more broadly applied than just in the neighborhood, or just in the two multi-family overlay districts. I'd love to see this come back next year and to be a standard that actually lives in the bicycle parking section for 100% affordable properties, because I think it should be applied no matter what district they're in. And I wish we could make that change, but unfortunately the warrant article language is so tightly written that we can't make that change.
Thank you. Shayna?
Yep, I agree. And if it is coming back to us next year, a future proponent might consider whether age-restricted housing also deserves or merits a lower standard or lower requirement of parking, bike parking spaces.
Thank you, Shayna. Very good point. Vince?
My grandmother never had a driver's license and rode her bicycle until she passed away at somewhere around the age of 85. But granted, she lived in the Netherlands. This is interesting because I did support this, but if the suggestion is to defer it till next year, then my hope would be that this would be wrapped into an affordable housing proposal and not a standalone measure. So I think I could support a recommendation of no action. If we were to recommend the article, I still think the phrase as defined in section 2 of the bylaw, just to qualify the word affordable, would be helpful. But since that may not be the direction we're going, that may be a moot point.
Thank you. Steve?
Yeah, I understand the financial challenges in developing affordable housing, where the rental income doesn't generate enough money to cover the cost of, building the units. There's a funding gap, and, policies that help narrow that gap are generally beneficial. I agree with my colleagues that it would, something like this or a similar provision should have broader applicability and not be limited to the Mass Ave Broadway multifamily district. I would, so I think it's a good idea, but not in the right place in the bylaw. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm also in agreement here. I think this is better resubmitted in next year. So do I have a motion here, please?
Mr. Chair, I will move no action on Article 56.
Thank you. I got a second?
Second,
Rachel?
yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Vince?
Yes for no action.
Steve?
Yes.
I'm also a yes. Almost done. One of the last articles, warrant article number 57, development standards bonuses. Claire, do you want to?
Sure. This is a rather lengthy article that relates to commercial bonuses and affordable housing bonuses in the MBMF overlay districts. Essentially, where the units are 100% affordable of new units, it relaxes the requirements for applicable floor space for commercial uses, again, in the Mass Ave Broadway overlay districts.
That's what I got.
All right. I just have one quick question. Did the town council look into this? Is this actually legal?
I believe town council has had a chance to review this, but I do not have an opinion from town council related to this article at this time. I can certainly follow up with him, although I know the vote is tonight on this article.
Thank you. Steve, you want to start with any comments you might have?
Yeah, reiterating my marks about producing affordable housing with regard to Article 56. I think this is a good idea, but the wrong place in the bylaw. This seems perhaps better suited to an affordable housing overlay or in Section 8.2, where it has a potential to benefit affordable housing more broadly. Thank you.
Thanks, Vince.
I'll agree with what Steve said and just add that, there's a few things in here, like a question of whether just a nonprofit organization's office or business space, whether that merits the commercial bonus, I think is something this board needs to think about more carefully in the context, hopefully, again, of an affordable housing overlay district. So I'm not in support of this as written, although I agree with most of the sentiment.
Sheena?
So I am in agreement with Steve by and large, and am not able to vote for this as written, although I am sympathetic and in support with the sentiment, as my colleagues have said they are. I do think that as we look at this, it's important to me that we not sacrifice one priority for another, so that while affordable housing is a stated priority in this district, so is commercial space, and so it was designed so that they could live side by side, and this article, I think, would ask for one to be prioritized at the expense of another in a way that I don't think town meeting had intended.
Thank you. Rachel?
Thank you. I agree with Shayna. I think that holding up the intent of prioritizing both housing as well as commercial use with this bonus is very important, as I've stated earlier. And I disagree with the intent of reducing the setback bonus provision as we tied that specifically, or of allowing that for non-commercial use, because we tied that specifically to the necessitation to pull a building forward to align with other commercial development in town, not for non-commercial uses. I would also have an issue supporting this, no matter where it would live, with going down to a 30% threshold. Thank you.
Thank you. I pretty much agree with everybody, what everybody said, and I just want to add in that the way it's laid out here, I'm not sure who would build this. It's so restrictive and so defined. I can't see how this would just be something that you put up there, and then I don't see it being built. So I'm not in favor of this. Do I have a motion?
So, Mr. Chair, I will make a motion for no action on Article 57.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
You guys choose. Steve?
Yes.
Vince?
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
I'm a yes too. Article 58, frontage facade build-out ratio for single-family dwellings. I believe this motion was, this article was withdrawn.
Proponents of Article 58 have requested that the Redevelopment Board vote to recommend no action on this article. They would like to rewrite and retool this article and bring it back to town meeting next year.
Thank you. Any comments or a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion for no action on Article 58.
A second here?
Second.
Steve?
Yes.
Vince?
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
I'm a yes too. Thank you very much. This completes the votes for the warrant, for the zoning warrant articles. I get a motion to close public hearings for warrant articles related to the zoning bylaws for 2026 town meeting.
So moved.
I'll second.
Steve?
Yes.
Vince?
Yes.
Shana?
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
I'm a yes too.
Do we need to go back to 38?
Oh, yeah, no, then,
It's okay to close the zoning warrant article hearing because Article 38 is not a zoning warrant article. It is a warrant article with no zoning attached.
all right, so I got lucky.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky.
That's why I always say. All right, can we go, now we're gonna go back to Article 38. And do we have a motion that we can
Sure.
read?
So the concern here was that there was no main motion language included with Article 38 for the board to vote on. And there were some recommendations from the board to use some of the language from the warrant article to write the main motion. The main motion could read, this article will extend the charge of the Affordable Housing Overlay District Committee to 2027 annual town meeting to study and prepare prospective amendments to the zoning bylaw and zoning map to create an affordable housing overlay district that provides more opportunities for housing meeting certain affordability requirements to be constructed as of right. If that main motion language is acceptable to the board, we could vote on this as amended.
So could you read the first sentence again?
Could I just ask you to read the whole thing again? I'm sorry.
Please.
I'll try to
Sure.
focus better.
This article will extend the charge of the Affordable Housing Overlay District Committee to 2027 annual town meeting to study and prepare prospective amendments to the zoning bylaw and zoning map to create an affordable housing overlay district that provides more opportunities for housing meeting certain affordability requirements to be constructed as of right.
So,
It's the text of the warrant article, essentially.
Steve?
so yeah, I think typically made motions have an imperative nature. So like voted that is that it on the screen?
No.
I can get
Okay.
it there.
Yeah, I'm looking at the motion to commit in terms of the way that it was formatted. This is what you're looking for, right? Where it's voted.
Yep.
Yeah.
That the charge of the committee shall be extended.
Yes, that the charge of the Affordable Housing Overlay District Committee shall be extended to the 2027 annual town meeting. Actually, I think that might do just by itself.
Say it again?
I think that's all you need, actually.
That's it. Yeah.
Voted that the charge of the Affordable Housing Overlay District Committee be extended to 2027 annual town meeting.
Can I make a modification?
Sure.
In the motion to commit, it is the Affordable Housing Overlay Committee, not the district.
Oh, thank you.
Do you have that, or do you want to see it give?
Voted that the change of the Affordable Housing Overlay Committee be
That the
extended.
charge,
Excuse me. Voted that the charge of the Affordable Housing Overlay Committee be extended to 2027 town meeting.
2027 annual town meeting.
2027 annual town meeting.
Yeah, it's fine with me.
Everybody in good agreement with that?
It's tight.
I get a motion, please?
Just as a procedural question, Mr. Chair, sometimes we let the proponents make a presentation. I'm not sure that's necessary, but I didn't want to deny them the opportunity. Did you?
There's no proponent, it's the,
it's the Affordable Housing Overlay Committee. They're the ones who put it in.
I don't think we need a presentation. I just didn't want to
okay,
fly past that if.
no, okay.
And can I ask, because they put it in, I think maybe we should ask them if they're in agreement with the proposed warrant article language like we did the other
Sure.
proponents?
Yes?
Right.
You both? Oh, oh, okay. I'm like, what? Okay. Does that satisfy everybody's?
Yes, and I think if there's any minor legal tweaks we need to make, we can make those with the moderator as a proposed amendment or something at town meeting. But this,
I think so. I have a motion here, please.
Well, actually, do we need to, I believe we need to take up public comment since it is
Oh.
a hearing?
Or public comment related to this.
Sorry. Is there public comment on this? Seeing none, I close public comment. I return back to the board for a motion.
So I will move favorable action on Article 38.
Second?
Steve?
Yes.
Vince?
I'm a yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
I'm a yes too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Another 2 years.
1 year.
1 year.
1 year. Okay. Next on the agenda is open forum. Does anybody wish to speak? You have up to 3 minutes. I'm to the gentleman that was so,
He left.
okay. Seeing no one wants to speak in open forum, I close open forum. Next on the agenda is new business. Does anyone have anything new? Claire?
I spoke about this last week, but I will say again that there will be a public event related to the Arlington Heights Overlay District on April 14th here in this room from 6:30 to 8 p.m.
Thank you. Steve?
Yes, I was, through you, Mr. Chair, I was wondering if staff had fielded any questions about 36R Dudley.
I have not.
I have not had any questions related to that property. Is it 36R or is it 26?
36R. According to the Warren Group, it recently changed hands. It's basically a garage on a 15,000 square foot lot, and it sold for $1.75 million.
My goodness.
Wow.
No news yet.
Anything else, Steve?
That's it.
Vince?
Well, since we're coming up on the final stretch of the comprehensive plan update, I wasn't able to attend the public event. I'm just curious if we could get a quick update on that, and then what are the next steps between now and town meeting?
Absolutely. So we, last Thursday on the 26th, we held an open house for the draft comprehensive plan, which is available online on the project website. We are accepting comments on the plan. Folks are encouraged to download the plan, read the plan, and provide comments through April 12th. We're seeking to bring a final draft of the plan to the ARB, hopefully on May 4th at your meeting. But we are curious as to what comments we will receive and how many, and that may also dictate the scheduling of the project. The event was pretty well attended. We saw a lot of the same folks that we had seen at previous events, and we had great snacks provided by FoodLink. I think generally people were supportive of the work that had been done and acknowledged that it took a tremendous amount of work and efforts, especially on the part of the AMP Up Advisory Committee, to get us where we are. Oh, yes, and also thank you to the high schoolers and the high school for hosting us.
Thank you.
Shannon?
Nothing.
Rachel?
Nothing.
I have nothing too. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Steve?
Yes.
Vincent?
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Thank you very much for your time.